Good morning, Unity on the Bay. Let's start off by giving ourselves a round of applause for being here, for showing up this morning. We are here and we are blessed. Whether you are here in person, thank you, or joining from the comfort of your own sacred space. We are so happy that you have joined us here at Unity on the Bay, your positive path for spiritual living. My name is Shantae Haymore-Kearney. I am your Sunday morning platform hostess, and I'm really excited not only to be here, but to share with you a couple of things that we have coming up here at in our community. You know, when I share these announcements, these updates, these news updates, it's not just information. It really is an invitation. It's an invitation for you to join us, to be involved, to become more deeply connected with our community so that we can be more deeply connected to you. So make sure you save the dates, get out your calendars, spread the word, and show up to attend. Already, we are 2 weeks away from our Love and Light Gala. It takes place on October 14th, which is a Saturday, and it will be held at Jungle Island on Miami Beach. So it is time for everyone to get super extra excited and ready in case you haven't already done so. And to help you with that excitement, we are giving away 2 free tickets. Yes? We're giving away 2 free tickets. So you can get 2 free tickets, and here's how you can do it. If you enter and win our 50-50 raffle. So let me break this down for you. If you get a raffle ticket today or next Sunday, then you could win 2 tickets plus half of the pot of the raffle. So that basically means, yes, wow. So it basically means that you can invite a friend, you and a friend can come, and you'll have some extra money left over to bid on some silent auction items, right? So we are super excited about all the things that we have planned for you at the gala. We also have a new entertainment to announce. This is super exciting. We're going to be being grateful to have Frank Lima, a famous Miami violinist, attending as our entertainment, as well as Daniel Marzoa, thank you. Daniel Marzoa, who you've known here from Unity on the Bay. He sings, he also jumps down from the platform and then walks through the stuff. Him? Yes, exactly. We love him. But let's give a listen to the video to hear a little bit more from our entertainment. Well, that was a vibe, so definitely you want to make sure that you show up to that. One last thing about the gala, this is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. So we really want to give a big, big thank you to everyone who has already purchased their ticket and also to our sponsors. So really take this to heart as I read the names of the companies from our community who are supporting your spiritual community. That is City National Bank, Anchorman, Schlesinger Law, Miami Statistical Consultants, BNY Wealth Management, and Action Coach Team Sage. Let's give them a round of applause. So the raffle, again, takes place this Sunday and next Sunday. You do have to be here in person in order to win. I'm sorry, we're not doing this online. However, you can purchase your ticket online. unityonthebay.org. And if you're going to purchase a raffle ticket, go to the Light and Love table in the back. Yes? Yes. Let's do that again. A big yes. Yes. So even if you're not attending, just know this is an event that you should be behind and supporting. So share about it, invite people, tell people to come, or attend yourself, okay? Alrighty, so lastly, you hear us talk about abundance and prosperity often. It's a common theme of what we share and how we choose to show up in this world. But you might wonder, like, what does this have to do with my spirituality? Well, it has everything to do with your spirituality. I want you to hear me out on this. It is your divine birthright to have everything that you want and desire. The problem is that we've been often told otherwise by our jobs, by our community, by the world, by friends, family, etc. But here at Unity on the Bay, we do not play by those rules. So we have an exciting new abundance program coming up. And Reverend Juan, would you mind joining me so you can tell the people how they can expect an abundance breakthrough?
Yes, so good morning, everyone. As many of you know, I believe myself to be somebody who is living abundantly, prosperously, really recognizing just the amazing ways in which God is blessing my life, and I get to be a blessing. And many a times I've shared that it is the spiritual practices and the prosperity principles is what actually really cemented my faith in God as the source of my good. And so there are many different practices that we can move through, but I tell you, when it comes to money, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to work that we love, it's really the prosperity teachings and practices that have made me go really, really deep to get to know myself more fully, see what are some of the limiting thoughts and judgments that I've placed on myself, be able to move through that. How many of you have stepped into a course and, seen some really great things happen, lived a little bit more abundantly, lived a little bit more holistically? Have any of you experienced that? Yes, right? And so you go through those and everything's going really great. And all of a sudden, how many of you have then realized that maybe you've plateaued or you've reached a plateau? Anybody experienced that before? This course is actually designed to push us through those plateaus, push through the glass ceiling. And I'm really excited that we can do that by not only acknowledging God as the source of our good, but really getting in touch with who we are. One of the things, for example, in other prosperity programs, you do some forgiveness work, right? And that's been a part of it, and that will be a part of this. But in addition to looking at that which to release, we look at a positive inventory of who we are, so that not only can we release certain things, but we can step into the greatness of who we are more fully. We're going to be looking at what is the glass ceiling that we've had. Because yes, every single time we go into a course, you kind of push through and kind of elevate yourself a little bit more, pushing those boundaries. We're getting rid of the boundaries, right? Like it's no longer about pushing them, it's about really breaking free from them. And I really trust that you'll join me in this course. It's one of my favorite ones, and it's a great time before we get into the ending, the close of the year, to really sort of create a strong foundation for what is going to be an amazing, amazing, abundant, prosperous, love, light-filled, peaceful. Anybody else? Just throw any word there. Joyful. Thank you, Shantae. Anybody else? Happy. All right. That kind of experience. So I'm going to borrow from Shantae. Who wants to experience more abundance in your life? Yes? Yes. Do you want to experience more prosperity in your life? Yes? Yes. Do you want to experience more love in your life? Yes. Do you want to know yourself more fully as the expression of the divine that is blessing not only your life, but the lives of everybody else around you? So who's joining me who's signing up for the class? Yes. Beautiful. We've written all of your names down, and I will have a checklist for the first class. And for those of you who knew where I was going and so didn't say yes, we have a few weeks to work with you before it starts.
Exactly. And enrollment is now open, so you can definitely go to our website. Again, that's unityonthebay.org to sign up. Look for Absolute Abundance Flight. And be sure to enroll before Tuesday, October 24th, which is the start date. And this is offered in person and online. So we look forward to seeing you there. Yes. Okay, I'm going to leave it to Reverend Juan to bring us into the remainder of the service. But first, I need to get my hug.
Yes. Thank you, Shantae. Appreciate that. And appreciate all of you being here. We are each here blessing each other. We are the ways in which God gets to know itself. And so it is really wonderful to have such a diverse community and a community that knows that we can lean on each other and lean on the experience of God as we know it here at Unity on the Bay. Now, if this is your first or second time being a part of our services or experiences here at Unity on the Bay, just know that we already feel blessed by you. We already know and trust and affirm that we will be a blessing to you, and we really want to get to know you a little bit more. So you can follow the prompts that are on the screen behind me so that we can just connect with you. And if you're in the room, you can also go to the Welcome Center after the service so that one of our welcome team members can introduce themselves to you. And by the way, for anybody that follows the prompts that are on the screen or connects with us, there is a gift that we provide. And I haven't shared this in a while, but it is the gift that is life-giving and life-affirming, a Starbucks gift card. We've all been revived by Starbucks gift cards before. I know that to be true. All right. So when we come together, we do so remembering that there is a mission and a vision that, whether we were conscious of it or not, has called us, that we are the ways in which the core values of Unity on the Bay lives out in the world. And we are also part of this wonderful energy and consciousness that we use a couple of P's, not peas as in the food, but the letter P. I just had a flashback of having to eat peas when I was a little kid. But the letter P's that really define who we are as a spiritual community and how we get to show up in the world. And this morning, I am going to invite you to speak those 3 P's with me. Unity on the Bay, we are positive, practical, and progressive. And you know that I always had to add something to it, so I've added another P, and that is we are powerful. Will you say that with me? We are powerful. Say it again, knowing just how powerful we are. We are powerful. And we know that we are powerful as we move into this time of prayer. Just really feeling into the energy of who and what we are. Expressions of the divine. Really feeling and sensing the very activity of God as our lives. And we are so grateful that from a place of power, we can come to recognize that abundant prosperity, wholeness is already ours, that we can claim our good right here and right now, and that good is manifesting for us and for each other and for all those that we love and have within our very hearts. That good is manifesting for humanity itself. And so know this truth. Know that we are one with God. Know that we are one with the divine. Know that we are divine expressions of God. And trust that the wisdom, discernment, and guidance of God is at hand. And so we open ourselves up to more fully recognizing that we are love, that we are light, that we are power, that we are all the things that we know God to be, for we are the divine expressions of good. And we experience that already in our lives, and we experience a greater acceptance and a greater embodiment of these truths here and now. We give thanks for the miracles that have already taken place, for the miracles that are taking place and will take place. And we give thanks that together we can remember that we are blessed. And yes, we get to be a blessing. So it is, as we let it be, let the people say, amen. Let's have a wonderful Sunday experience.
Thank you, Reverend Juan, and good morning, Unity on the Bay. Thank you for that. Let's welcome to the front of the stage, Raul, Morin.
Good morning, everyone.
Stronger than the power of the grave.
Your love never fails and never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails and never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails and never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love. And on and on and on and on it goes, for it overwhelms and satisfies my soul. And I never ever have to be afraid. This one thing remains. One thing remains. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love. In all my life, I'm confident and covered by the power of your great love. My way is clear. There's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. Your love never fails and never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails and never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love. And on and on and on and on it goes, for it overwhelms and satisfies my soul. And I never ever have to be afraid. One thing remains. One thing remains. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love. In all my life, I'm confident and covered by the power of your great love. My way is clear. There's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Thank you.
Morning, Unity on the Bay. Good morning. Amelia will be reading the daily word for today.
Today's daily word is prosperity. Repeat with me. The affirmation practicing gratitude depends my experience of prosperity. My life may be full of blessing, my family and friends, my home, my memories and experience, but it can be easy to take it for granted if I focus more on what I'm missing rather than what I have. Beginning thankful experience, my gratitude for my good opens my heart, but it also opens my eyes to the many ways I am prosperous. I count my blessing pausing to give thanks for each one. The more often I do this, the more feelings of gratitude will fill my heart, crowding out constricting feeling of scarcity, fear, or envy. From the serenity I feel in my heart to the peace that calms my mind, I am prosperous as I greet each day with a prayer of thanks, my blessing abound.
Today's daily word is inspired by Psalm chapter 36:8. They feast on the abundance of your house, and you give them drink from the river of your delights. Thank you.
It's time to get ready for meditation. Please silence your phones. Sit in a comfortable posture and remember to take deep breaths from time to time. We'll begin our meditation experience with a song.
This meditation song is based on the lyrics of the Lord's Prayer.
Oh God, from whom the breath of life comes, who fills all heaven and earth, may your light shine within us. May we know you're not separate from us. May we feel you in us. Let your will come true. Let us love like you. Thanks for your forgiveness. May we forgive ourselves and others too. Thank you for guiding our steps while we're here. May we walk in love and not fear. When we listen, your message is clear. The kingdom of heaven is here. The kingdom of heaven is
And so if you haven't done so already, I invite you to gently close your eyes. This is such a sweet and loving time. An opportunity to release and let go of that which no longer serves us. Release and let go of the busyness of the day. Whatever it took for you to get to this space that we're in right here and right now. I invite you to take a deep breath. And let the sweet music of the dulcimer be like a lullaby for your heart. Letting yourself feel comforted and held. For it is in this very moment, in the activity of this sacred and holy experience, that you are held by love. You are held by the light that God is in you and in your life. There is only God here and now. And so let us take another deep breath. Moving deeper into the inner sanctuary of our being, that space within us that knows God fully. This morning, if you came to experience love, know that you bring love to this moment. If what called you to be in this space is a desire to experience even more peace and calm, know that peace and calm is your divine nature. Right here and right now, there is wholeness. And we bring the light that we are, we bring the light of God to this experience. In this moment, there is nothing wrong or bad. We simply exist and have our being in God. And so we release any expectations that we have from this experience. And we meet this moment from a sense of wonder and awe. Feeling God, knowing God, trusting and having faith in the power that is within us, the strength of faith that is present in this moment. And so with wonder and awe, We sense our body. With wonder and awe, we breathe. And notice the pause. With awe and wonder, we know that we are safe in this holy experience, and we trust our oneness with God. And with wonder and awe, we move into some time of silence, knowing that whatever needs to be revealed is revealed. Whatever needs to be healed is healed. For God is, we are, and there is oneness. With wonder and awe, we simply are this moment. And so, what a blessing to experience this moment with grace, with a deep wisdom that moves us and guides us to remember that we are being seen and experienced in our truth, that we are being held and lifted and comforted by divine love and the divinity that flows through this moment and through each and every one of us. And in this moment, we remember that we are the love and the light of God in expression. And so we set the intention to express it more fully and to be in gratitude for this moment and this experience, and for the ways in which we are blessed, and the ways in which right here and right now we are moved to be a greater blessing to the world. With wonder and awe, we trust and affirm our truth, and we remember that we and God are one. We give thanks for this knowing and for this time. So it is. Amen. Thank you, Serena, our music ministry. Thank you, Raul, for earlier. Thank you, Mary McHenry. So for those of you who, no, this is the first time that we've ever had the dulcimer being played at Unity on the Bay before. How many of you knew what a dulcimer was? I was the same way as most of you were. And we thank Mary, who not only was it her birthday yesterday, she came to gift us with her playing of the dulcimer. It's the first time, yeah. It's actually the first time that she's ever played it live for other individuals. So we're very blessed, and so thank you for the lullaby. And usually it's the music where the minister will just make that joke like, oh, I'm done, right? Like nothing else I can do to top that. But the music was great. And I don't know if I can top Amelia reading the Daily Word. Like, I mean, I feel like that. And it just, just really beautiful. And I don't know about you, but it also just brought to mind the power of children. Like learning how to read with the Daily Word, right? Like learning how to be in the world with these spiritual principles. So I'm going to invite you, and I know Raul and Reverend Pam and so many people that are supportive of our family ministry are going to be really grateful for this. Will you hold the vision of more children being a part of our community and more children receiving these principles so that they can live out in the world as the divine expressions of God as they are? Will you join me in that? Yes? I didn't even have to do come on, let's do it like Shantae says. Like it was just like a powerful, let's hold that vision, really. What a beautiful thing. So thank you for allowing Amelia to read the Daily Word for us. That was really special. All right, so how many of you are expecting a joke from me today? We're going to talk about expectations today. And I did have a joke for you this morning, and I was expecting it to be funny, and I was expecting it to land, and it didn't. And so that joke is gone. But I am going to, it was like being able to sort of live the teachings in the moment, right? Which is, what I want to share with you today is about how we can have healthy and unhealthy expectations in our life. Because the reality is that if you think about it, you might agree, we're always having expectations, are we not? When you came into this room, I'm sure that you were expecting to see certain people. You were expecting to hear some wonderful music. You were expecting to be inspired in some way or another, right? Like there's these expectations that we have wherever we go. Some of them will be met today, and some of them may not be. And how do we live with that, right? How do we live with knowing that we can have expectations, and when they are not met, that it doesn't have to mean anything other than an expectation wasn't met? That it doesn't have to change or shift the way in which we know ourselves to be expressions of God, to be holy, to be worthy of love and of belonging, as Brené Brown really talks about when it comes to the power of vulnerability, and how when we have expectations, that they themselves, the expectations themselves and our experience of them can actually bring about some clarity about what it is that we're holding in mind, what it is that we're holding about ourselves and about God and about how life should be. I mean, just take a moment to think about the expectations that you have about life, expectations that you have about relationships, at work, this very moment. What are you expecting from this very moment? What are you expecting from what I'm going to be sharing with you? We're constantly creating expectations, and some of them we are conscious of, and some of them we're not conscious of until all of a sudden they're not met, right? And then we start to feel the results of having an expectation not be met. And a lot of times, that is really moving us into, as Brené Brown talks about in her book, The Atlas of the Heart, which again is the one that we are using for our not only Sunday series, but for the Spirit Groups program, which you can still sign up for and be a part of. But she talks about when expectations are not met, that a lot of us tend to go to disappointment, yes, Anger, yes. It goes to frustration, discouragement. How many of us, have had an expectation not be met, and so we just say, you know what, I'm just not going to expect anything from them. Or I'm not going to expect anything from that thing that we're talking about, whatever that may be, right? And so expectations just play with us. Now, one of the expectations that I think it could do a lot of good for us to use and really sort of like have ourselves grounded with is the expectation of expecting the unexpected. Because how many of us know that there will be unexpected surprises in life? How many of us forget that when there is an unexpected surprise in life, right? And so, how can we be more grounded in expecting the unexpected, in being able to hold expectations? Because it's not about like letting them, for me, it's not about like getting upset with myself for having expectations, is how to have them in a healthy way and being able to manage my experience of the expectations, whether they're met or not. Right? Because it's just something that sort of is part of like the human experience. But really, when they're not met, if we have an unhealthy relationship with it, or whether we may not even know that the expectation is there, when we start to feel that disappointment, regret, frustration, misunderstanding, feeling not understood, how does that make us feel? Small. That's my experience. Constricted, limited. But are we not the makers of our own experience? Are we not the ones that have the power to set intentions about how we are going to experience and live through those expectations and through life? And so, yes, we can have expectations, and we can set the intention of not letting, when those expectations are not met, mean anything more than they were just not met. That we don't take it on as something about that there's something wrong with us, or there's something wrong with who we are, that it says anything about how we are valuing ourselves and what value and worthiness there is within us. And so when we think about, like, well, maybe I can have a healthier relationship with expectations and set that intention for creating a different way of experiencing, what could it be? Well, for me, and in the book from Brene Brown, it really invites us to create an intention of curiosity. So when expectations are not met, I wonder why that didn't happen. I wonder what that means for me. I wonder what it's pointing out for me. And the same thing with the expectation. I really believe that curiosity and coming from a place of curiosity in many different aspects can really support us in managing and navigating life, no matter what life may look like for us. And so today, really, it's about having curiosity about our expectations. What are those expectations that we're having? To know where they're coming from, right? Like what birthed these expectations. Also, curiosity about our own experiences. This is an experience I'm having. And just trying to be curious about what it actually means and how it actually feels and how it's bringing us into our own evolution. And also, curiosity about how God is showing up in our lives. Like in moments where our expectations are not met, or in moments when we are in despair or anger or frustration, what would it look like if we actually were able to take a step back? It's like, I'm curious about how this is an expression of the divine. I'm curious to see how God will be showing up through this experience. All of a sudden, even just that one question, right? Like moves our attention away from the challenge, the issue, into the possibility, the potential that is in that moment. And so we do have these unexamined and examined expectations, and there's an opportunity for us to no longer allow, when they're not met, to deter us from moving forward, and actually be able to even see them as the catalyst for us moving forward and evolving and getting more clear about who we are, what God is, and the way in which we together are moving through life. But so many of us, all of a sudden, when expectations are not met and we go into all those feelings, we just push things away. Brene Brown in her book says, there are too many people in the world today who decide to live disappointed rather than risk feeling disappointed. Because we're not vulnerable enough to see it, right? We're not vulnerable enough sometimes to just know that it's a feeling that we're having and it doesn't define us. And so we get into, when things are disappointing and woe is me, life is too hard, no one can live up to what I want in life, no one can, all these different stories that we have. What would it look like if we just go into life knowing sometimes we'll be disappointed and sometimes we won't be disappointed? Sometimes our expectations are going to be met, and sometimes our expectations are not going to be met. And regardless of that, I move forward. Regardless of that, God is here. Regardless of that, I can hold and have my being in faith. And so we can have healthy expectations, because knowing that there are things that will be met and things that will be unmet can still allow us to move forward and not deter us from remembering our worth, remembering what God is, and remember the way in which life itself is shaping us and moving us into a greater experience of God. So many times when all of a sudden we push away because it's difficult to be vulnerable, to speak out our expectations, to live knowing that there may be some individuals that may not meet our expectations or experiences that may not meet our expectations, we play it safe. So we don't give ourselves fully to a relationship. We don't give ourselves fully to an experience. We don't give ourselves fully to that which we say we want in life. And all of a sudden we stopped reaching out to people and also reaching out for our dreams and aspirations. But we can choose to see that every individual and every experience is moving us forward and deeper into God. And so when all of a sudden we do recognize, or maybe we don't even recognize, but I'm just going to invite you, when you go into a relationship, when you go into a new experience, when you show up somewhere, to ask yourself, what expectation do I have of this moment? Brené Brown in her book has a couple of questions. So what expectations do I have going into this? What do I want to happen through this? Why? What does that mean for me? And believe me, we can always go deeper into our expectations, because we are constantly, if you're like me, having a movie being played in our mind, right? And so, yeah, we show up to an experience, but we've already shown up with a movie playing about what that experience is going to look like, feel like, what's going to happen. And there are so many movies that are taking place within us, and sometimes we don't realize it. But the moment that we realize it, the moment that we know that those movies are just part of the experience and the expectations are just part of the experience, there's a healthy way in which we can all of a sudden recognize, oh, it's a movie, so I can rewrite the script. I can choose to be with it differently. And be curious then about our expectations, so that we can always learn, whether they're met or not, that God is within the situation, that God is in that moment. We can so get lost in the movies in our heads that we forget that that's not the reality of our experience. And so again, how can we be curious about what is being born within every experience, within every relationship? What is taking place, and how is it moving me forward and deeper into the experience of God? Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21 says, "The human mind may devise many plans, but it is the purpose of the Christ that will be established." And so we can have many movies playing in our mind, we can have many an expectation, and what will take place is that which is of God. What will take place is that which is our own divinity showing up. What will take place is what will all of a sudden uncover that which we have used to cover up the truth of our being. And so even when there is disappointment, even when somebody doesn't meet our needs, we can be in the knowing, wait, this is for my highest good. Because it is through this that I will know myself more fully, and it is through this that I will recognize the way in which God shapes my life in deep and big ways. In the expected and in the unexpected, God is. Period. Can we live that truth? In the expected and in the unexpected, God simply is. When our needs are met, when our needs are not met, when my expectations are met, when they're not met, God still is there. And a lot of times we set ourselves up for disappointment. That's another thing that we really are invited into this week, to look at how we set ourselves up with some of the expectations towards disappointment. So yes, we can have them, and we can still question them, right? And we can still be healthy with them. I love that Brené Brown actually gives a couple of examples on how we sometimes set ourselves up for these disappointments. She says, for example, that one time she was saying, it's gonna be a great vacation. I have everything planned to the minute. How many planners are in the room? How many of you planners know that there are things that are unplanned that will take place? And what happens when we don't, right? And so we're already building ourselves up with these expectations, knowing that there can be some disappointment. And so, yes, we can have a healthy relationship with it, and we can also question the expectations and start to see what's underneath it. And so, for example, it's going to be a great holiday. I have everything planned. What would it look like to go into that same experience, but with a sense of curiosity? I'm not even asking that we not plan. But can we go in with a plan and ask, I wonder if we're going to be able to do all the things that we're going to do. I wonder how happy and joyous this experience is going to be. And again, it starts to shift our mind about the way that things have to be and the potential and the possibility of what will rise up. She also says, my sister-in-law is going to love her gift and be so impressed with dinner. How about, I wonder if she's going to love it. How many of you are good cooks in this room? I'm not. So I would never go in with the expectation of saying, they're gonna love my dinner, right? They're gonna love the food. But what would it be like? I wonder if I'll be able to cook today. I wonder if it'll actually taste good. I wonder if they'll enjoy it, right? And so it's that curiosity and openness to wondering that really starts to make the experience a little differently for us. She also says, I can't wait to share my project presentation with the team tomorrow. They're going to be blown away and really appreciate how hard I've worked. I wonder what they'll think. I wonder how it'll show up. And when you start to ask yourself, where do these expectations come from, right? When you start to look at how they're kind of like shaping up for you, a lot of times it's going to remind us that a lot of these expectations, and especially when we are disappointed when they're not met, it's why? Because we have given a lot of power to other individuals. We have given a lot of power to our experiences. We have given a lot of power to that which is outside of us. And the moment we do that, we lose the power that is truly powerful, which is to know that we are worthy, that we are whole, that our value comes from us and how we show up and how we believe and connect with the divinity that is within us. Gary Simmons shares that in the moment when we all of a sudden realize that our value comes from being one with God, that our value comes from not outside of us, but inside of us, that we can release the expectations that something outside of us will define our worth, that all of a sudden when we do that, then things no longer have to be villains in our story. Because the moment that we're disappointed, the moment that we don't think we're being valued, because we're not valuing ourselves, the moment that we think other people are saying that or making us feel that we are unworthy, which is simply hitting a nerve because there are parts in us that we don't feel we are worthy of, well, all of a sudden we have to make somebody a villain, right? Somebody the bad person or something the bad person in the story. And in God, there is no villain. In God, as Gary says, no one and nothing is against you. And then he invites us to do something really powerful. Make your path to be about proving this truth, and you will discover what wholeness really is. How about that as an expectation? That no one and nothing is against me. And to start seeing how that is shaping up. Again, it's not about not having expectations. It's about having healthy expectations and having a healthy relationship with our expectations. So even when things do not go according to our plan, there is something here for me. Even when this person doesn't show up the way that I thought that they would or I wanted to, there is something here for me. And it's all moving us in the direction of our own divine energy and the place of knowing who we are. Why did this happen? You know, so many times we get asked, and you probably have asked yourself, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Sometimes I don't know the answer to a why something happened, why an expectation wasn't met. But I think even more powerfully, the question is, what can I do with it? What can I do with it now? And that, again, is being in the curiosity and in the wonder of the experience. But I know that it takes a certain level of trust and faith for us to be able to do that. That a faith that we are one with God, that God is the source of our good, that God is showing up and manifesting in our lives, whether we recognize it or not. And that we have within us the power to really shift our experience with the intentions that we set for ourselves, to seeing, to feeling, and to believing in God in all. We can have expectations, and we can have a strong foundation of where we are placing our faith. E. Cummings says, once we believe in ourselves, we can risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human experience. See, for me, this is all about just knowing ourselves and being vulnerable enough to do the work of knowing ourselves more fully, to seek to know ourselves. All the things that we have pushed to the side, but are still a part of us, and all the things that we have welcomed in and that they're a part of us. To be vulnerable enough to know how we are showing up in the world, how we're expecting the world to show up for us, and to be vulnerable enough to sit with the feelings and the uncomfortability sometimes of recognizing it may not feel good, and that doesn't mean that God is not in it. It may not be experienced as good, and that doesn't mean that there's no good in it. And so in that way, we start to realize that, one, everything is of God, that everything is for our highest good, and that everything is part of the evolution for us to start living more authentically as the divine expressions of good that we are. And it reminds us then that we don't have to look outside of us to look for perfection, because what? Perfection is already here. Perfection is God as us living in this world. We don't have to look outside of us to expect to find our worth outside of us, because we are already worthy, and we are already worthy of belonging and living into our truth. And we don't have to go out and seek God outside of us, because God is already here. Whether we acknowledge it or not, whether it feels right or it doesn't feel right, whether our expectations have been met or not, God simply is here, and God is part of this experience also. As Meher Baba said, he's a spiritual master of the 20th century, known in India, but also beyond, and many people considered him an avatar. He says, why is it so difficult to find God? Because you're looking for something you've never lost. God is already here in expected and unexpected ways, and when our expectations are met or not. And that is an expectation that we can have to experience. That is an intention that we can place to bring about awe, wonder, curiosity, and then through that, an experience of joy and oneness and of our own power. That is truly not only the expectation, but the curiosity that brings about heaven on earth. And so I really invite you to look at that, and I really invite you to experience God in all. Namaste.
To make sure that we heard every note again. That was awesome. Thank you all so much. How are you enjoying your Sunday? All right. Yes, it has been a beautiful day. Thank you, Reverend Juan, for that powerful message on vulnerability and expecting the unexpected. You never know what's going to happen, right? How many times has that been proven to be true? So let's just be prepared. I always like to say there's what we plan, there's what happens, and then there's how we deal with it. So the choice is up to you, up to us, really. So it takes a lot to create this experience that we just had. It takes a lot of teamwork, energy, attention, all the things. So we are so excited that you were here to participate and co-create with us. So just know, and as you prepare your gratitude offering, we invite you to take in the value that you received from this service and take that to heart as you prepare your gratitude offering for our community and how you support this community today. So we have options for you to make it easy. You can always text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to the phone number that's on your screen. It's 833-245-5645. That if you need an envelope, we have our ushers available. Just please raise your hand. I see some folks up here who need an envelope. Or if you're at home, you can visit unityonthebay.org. That's where I prefer to do my giving at. And I'm going to give you a few moments of sacred silence so you can prepare your gift with your heart. Okay, we're going to take a moment to bless these gifts and these offerings by saying our blessing together, shall we? Divine love that I am blesses all that I give and all that I receive. And just remember, for those who have envelopes, there is a drop box in the back on your way out. You're welcome to put it into the drop box, okay? All right, so also one of my favorite parts of the service was also the daily word reading. So we are going to bless the children of our Kids Zone. We're going to bless both the children who read today, so that we had one for the 9:30 and the 11:15. Bless the child within you. Create some energy, you all. Get some energy, some intention going into a new week. Extend it forward. Always remember the child within you as we say the children's blessing together. Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. Yes. Well, we are a praying community, and our prayer chaplains are available and ready to pray with and for you, to hold sacred space for you. So they'll be coming up, and you can connect with one of them after the service for a prayer of request, a prayer of gratitude, prayer for someone else, or just a prayer of celebration. And next, I'm going to bring Reverend Juan up. Can you help us close out our service and let us know how to bring this message into our life this week?
Oh my gosh, this is so easy for the next couple of weeks, because all I need to say to you is read your spirit group's guide and follow with the questions. Again, if you haven't signed up for one, you can still go to our website and download the guide so that you can do it on your own. So with that, I'm going to invite you to stand so that we can say our prayer for protection, and we'll follow that with the peace song. So from a place of power, from a place of knowing our worth, our belonging, and who we are, let us affirm. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are divine.